Well, hello my dear companions, welcome back to Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. We are playing through the side stories and it's interesting, it's so interesting. And for now, when I just started up the game without even having really played the main game in this version, we got the side story Trust Part 1. And I'm not sure if there are only two parts. I don't know how it works really. But to unlock the other ones, I will have to play the main game. So I'm going to do that quickly off camera so we can check out all the side stories. But hope you enjoy. Let's go to part 2. Hope you have your favorite snacks, your favorite blanket. Let's do this. Trust, part 2. Sayori and Monika, friendship. Boom. Boom. Another day passes in a flash and it's already time for the next club meeting. Although Monika should have come with a plan for today's club tasks, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem, Yeah, Becoming a Flower. That was a really good poem. It really showcased how Sayori feels. Why she just puts on that face, you know. I'm so stupid. How did I let myself to be the center of attention? Sayori's going through these kinds of feelings, and I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? This whole time I didn't think to ask about her own feelings. So much for the stupid vision. Sayori enters the club room with her usual smile. But upon seeing the downcast Monika, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern.
Monika? Is everything okay?
I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend.
Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend.
Monika shakes her head. I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Sayori responds quietly.
What are you talking about?
But as she says that, her face darkens. Through the silence, Sayori mutters her realization.
I left my folder here.
Monika stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response.
Wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that.
But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Friends look out for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you are here for me. Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy.
This is different. It wasn't just about you yesterday, it was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I'm like happy. So if you do this, then you're just being selfish.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't just try to stay happy all this time. You just need to slow down and kind of really feel how you feel, you know. You can't just put on that face all the time. No one can survive that, you know. Monika massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable Sayori isn't ready to share certain things. But as unfair as it is for Monika to pry, it's also painful for Monika to force herself to ignore the needs of her friend. I'm sorry I looked. I'd disrespected your privacy.
No, I don't blame you for looking. You would have at least needed to check it. You would have at least needed to check if it was mine.
Yeah. Monika takes a deep breath. Okay. I understand that you don't want me to worry. And I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise me something?
Promise you what?
Monika pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the literature club. It's a place where people can express themselves in ways that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Right away into your heart, or whatever. So, I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves like that. Sayori smiles gently.
I'll promise if you promise.
Unable to help it, Monika returns Sayori's smile. I promise.
Me too.
As the conversation closes, the mood of the room is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed with the club activities. So, want to teach me about poetry?
Huh? What about recruitment?
It's fine, we have plenty of time for that. But right now I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know?
There's no way I could say no to that. Just don't expect too much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything.
It's cool that actually Sayori was the one who was a talented poetry writer, and Monika was not that good writing poems. It was Sayori who taught Monika. It's fine, that's fine. I think I just need like some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems.
Start isn't so hard. You kind of just need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you.
Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good.
It's not supposed to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. Doesn't have to be good, you know. You can just write down what you feel. Don't think about it.
You're gonna have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kinds of things it makes you think of. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story. You can get your feelings down first and then make it sound pretty later.
Yeah.
It's not like building a railroad where you go from one end to the other. It's more like a collage where you find all the things you want to put in and then you arrange them in a pretty way. At least that's how I do it. It's not like it's the only way, but it's a really good way to not get stuck right at the beginning.
I understand. Yeah, I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's actually important. Monika pulls out a pen and paper to start writing on. Stop being a perfectionist, you idiot. I'm just kidding. Monika scribbles out, you idiot, after she writes it down.
No, keep it.
Why? Are you calling me an idiot?
Of course not. But the point is that you're not supposed to be you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? Yes, don't censor yourself. Be as dramatic as you want.
But I was just... Well, yeah. Underneath the scribble, Monika rewrites, you idiot. She stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and then I did that exact thing anyway. This is really gonna take some getting used to.
I believe in you.
Thanks, I do too. Me, I mean. But also you, of course. Monika continues to exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quite a struggle to write without overthinking it. But after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monika's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively, peppered with all of her random thoughts. Phew. Monika looks up and down at her sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it. But it's also kind of liberating. Yeah, just to kind of get it out there, you know, get out your feelings. Doesn't have to be verbal, just to write it down. Or yeah, I think that's as Monika says, liberating for many of us.
I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems.
Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to try really hard at it. But I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing. With you. Sayori beams. I'll stop here, but we still have time. Let's try to work on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language.
Yay, let's do it.
Monika and Sayori proceeds with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so does the essence of the literature club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Another day passes. As usual, Monika is the first one to the club room. With her is a printout of the revised literature club flyer, complete with all the new ideas Monika and Sayori came up with. If only this was the flyer we gave to that one reading girl the other day. I'm pretty sure Yuri's gonna pop up, not maybe in this one, because I think each side story will only focus on two girls at the same time. It's so much more attractive than the old one. But the new catchphrase is featured clearly in the center of the flyer, right away into your heart. Surely common sense would say that one writes from the heart, not into the heart. Yeah, maybe. But the message behind being delivered is that one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully Monika and Sayori had thought that it would be enough to garner some curiosity from students. Why do I feel so tense looking at this? Monika thinks back to the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be the president if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? The literature club is truly beginning to take form. But with that, the weight on Monika's shoulders only becomes heavier. Debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. Now, that's why Monika was so good at it. It existed entirely in her realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself for real. Monika pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs a pen. She presses the tip on the pen firmly against the paper. But her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects around the tip of her pen. Monika lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run her finger across it. As she does so, the black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monika's canvas. Out of spite for herself, Monika presses her pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monika. Just move your hand. Monika writes. This is what I get for seeking perfection. A stain. Monika slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. Oh, Monika. The air conditioner seems louder today.
I'm here.
Hi. Monika hears Sayori approach her desk, then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sits down on the adjacent desk.
Bad day?
Hmm?
Me too.
You too.
The new flyer looks good, so good. You've been working so hard.
Oh my god, Sayori. She's having a bad day, but she just, comes in with a smile and tries.
On the club, but also something else, I think.
I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard to just be vulnerable. Sayori takes a sheet of paper from Monika's desk. She writes something down and stares at it for a while.
Can I trust you?
Of course. You can trust me with anything. Sayori gazes at Monika with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the signal, Monika takes the paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. It's another poem. Wow. I mean, we knew this was Doki Doki, and Doki Doki really. Some people just sees Doki Doki as a twisted horror game, but the thing is, at its core, Doki Doki Literature Club, the game, really showcases real problems, if you can call them problems, but concerns, real feelings, real situations, real things people struggle with. Oh, Sayori. Sayori.
This is really hard for me.
Her voice shakes.
So if I can do it, then you can too. Because you're like a million times better than me.
That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself.
That's something about me that I've never told anyone before. Even now my head is like screaming at me to stop.
Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday.
I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe it's part of the reason I came to this club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you more than I'm scared.
At those words, Monika stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Were Monika's own futile but genuine efforts actually the push that Sayori needed? Or were Monika's own futile but genuine efforts? Sayori's deliberate breaths, it can be heard over the air conditioned. As she prepares herself to continue, Monika waits in gentle silence.
I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you can just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kinds of thoughts that I have. It's so much easier to just smile and help everyone else to be happy.
But that's terrible. That's what Monika wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing.
It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask me what's wrong. I know that because it used to be like that.
Sayori pauses, seeming to recall something from in the past.
I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And letting people look inside my head doesn't bring happiness to anyone.
Sayori pauses again, her solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person. How did you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried that I'll be one of those people, too?
I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this, but another part of me, I think, just felt like it would be different this time. Whenever we talk about what the club is supposed to be, I kept feeling like it was right for me to do. Especially after you've been trying so hard to express yourself too. It just made me feel like I could say it in confidence, and our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly though. The club is only 2 people, but it already means this much to me. Oh, Sayori!
Monika feels a tightening sensation in her heart, a feeling of connection as Sayori's emotions radiate between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're so brave, Sayori. You're so brave, strong and brave. I don't even compare. Monika steps forward. But if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy. If you'd like. Oh my god! New art, guys, and this is such a beautiful. Wordlessly and without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on Monika's shoulder. That is beautiful. And it's so good to get kind of this new official art. It really expands the story too. Throughout the contact, Monika can almost feel the torrent of thoughts swimming in Sayori's head. And in this moment, enchanted by the air of the club, Monika realizes that of all the days that have passed, this is the one where she really, really hopes that nobody new walks through the door. She speaks softly. You're like the sweetest girl I've ever met. You can say anything, I'll never judge you. I promise. Sayori's breath begins to quiver. She takes several deep breaths, trying as hard as she can to start speaking, to say the things she never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks in a choked voice.
I'm so worthless. I'm worthless and everyone would be better off without me.
She suppresses a sob as a tear falls down her cheek.
I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything and it just feels like everyone just has to put up with me. And I hate it, I hate it.
The more Sayori speaks, the more she fails to control her voice. Wow. Oh. Falling victim to the overwhelming sadness clutching at her throat and chest.
I don't want to have these thoughts and I want them to go away. And now I'm making you put up with me and I just want to die.
As soon as Sayori loses her composure, Monika becomes determined to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sayori needs right now. So she won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through as soft and gentle. This isn't putting up with you. It's just being your friend. Oh. Monika offers a few words of comfort. She knows, Sayori said it herself, that the thoughts Sayori expresses are the ones that don't belong. And Monika can't magically make them go away. The most she can do is help Sayori battle them, like any good friend would do. You have so much value. To me and your other friends too. This club wouldn't have been the same without you. I really mean that. You coming here was the best thing that could ever have happened. Even if we never got any other members, I could still be happy. That's what you brought here. You brought us a vision, and you also brought happiness. That's your favorite thing to do, right? Sayori doesn't respond, but Monika feels her gently nod. No more words are needed between them. The two share their embrace for a while longer, Monika letting Sayori take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles fully cease, Sayori lifts her head and wipes her eyes.
I guess I needed that. Some days are harder than others.
Well, I'm here whenever you need me, but any other time I'll make sure that things are the way they usually are, if that's what makes you happy.
Thanks. You're the best.
No, you are. The two exchange smiles. You know, I'm sorry to bring this up all of a sudden, but have you considered talking to a professional? Sayori nods.
It's scary though, since it's already so hard to tell people.
Yeah, well, of course, it will always be your choice, but if you're ever looking to find the courage for it, I can do my best to help you.
Thanks. I think it helps knowing that you would.
Sayori suddenly yawns and stretches.
Wow, that made me tired. And hungry.
Well, I won't make you do any work today. If you're not up for it.
No, I want to. I mean, I can't say that it's definitely one thing that makes me happy.
Monika smiles.
But I might want to get the snack first.
All of a sudden, the sound of the door causes the two of them to turn their heads. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks inside. A face that seems familiar. It ends there. That was Yuri. Okay, so I need to play the main game to unlock more of the side stories, and I'm gonna do that, but it might take some time, but I will do it as fast as I can. But I hope you enjoyed. That was incredible. That was incredible, guys. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about this. It is so good because this actually really expands the story in a way. We got to know how the literature club really came to be and how these two girls met. And Monika truly cared about Sayori this whole time. If you just think back throughout the main game, she really cared about Sayori. She really knew what Sayori was going through. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell me in the comments down below what you think about it. And I will try to get the next side story out as quick as possible. I promise you, we're gonna check out all 6 of them. Hope you enjoy. Never ever forget to stay awesome. I'll see you soon. Toodeloo!